We now come to the debate on grooming gangs. Tom Hunt to move on behalf of the Petitions Committee.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. I beg to move that this House has considered e-petitions 300239 and 327566 relating to grooming gangs. I'd like to thank the 131,625 people who signed the first of the petitions which we'll be debating today, which was calling for the release of the Home Office review into it, which of course has now happened, and the second smaller petition signed by over 30,000 people calling for a public inquiry into the issue of grooming gangs. I mean, clearly this issue is of huge importance and has caused immense distress to a huge number of people across the country. The victims themselves who have been victims of these appalling crime, but also their friends and family as well. And I'd add to that, whole communities, I think, have been shocked and appalled by what has happened. I think there is a sense, though, from this Home Office report that it isn't quite what many people were intending. When I talk about many people, I ahead of this debate, being a member of a petitions committee, I do not represent a constituency where this has been a big issue. But I felt it incumbent upon myself to speak to other right honourable members who have knowledge in this area, but also to some of the victims of this appalling crime as well, to gain a greater understanding as to what their views are and also their views on the report. Many of them do feel that the report doesn't go far enough. They believe it only touches upon the issues. And if it is a start of something far more significant, then okay. But if it's the end of it, then they feel very unsatisfied. I would support them in saying that I do believe further action should be taken. One of the key problems here has been the lack of data relating to which has made it difficult to really go into detail regarding the characteristics of the grooming gangs and those involved. And I think that has been problematic. I mean, some honourable members have raised the point that if the data is not available, then surely you can just look at those who have been convicted and you can gain a pretty accurate picture there of the kinds of individuals who have been engaged in the matter. So that has been something which has been raised before. But many of the victims I've spoken to, I mean, of course, those who are most responsible for this appalling crime are those who have been found guilty for it, those who carried out the evil act. Those are the principal individuals. But there is also a great sense from many of the communities. I mean, we're talking about the Rotherham and Rochdale and these towns, and the brilliant work that the Honourable Member for Rotherham has done on this issue, showing great courage and standing up for and battling for her constituents. But also many of them feel that they've been failed over a long period of time by the state, both at a local level, but also at a national level. They feel like this is an issue that was swept under the carpet because it was seen as being inconvenient and not politically correct to talk about it. That is how they feel. That is how they feel, and that is the hurt that they feel. And I think it should be incumbent upon all of us in this House to address those concerns and give them a sense that justice has been done, and also that the lessons have been learned so that we can try and ensure that we do not continue to have these appalling crimes happening within our society. I think there is a wider point here, though, about this issue and about whether it was political correctness, for want of a better word, or something else, or concern about cultural sensitivities, and the fact that it does seem, in many cases, that the majority of those who've engaged in this evil act did seem to come from one particular community. And they feel, and I agree with them, that if it is the case that certain crimes are disproportionately committed by members from certain communities, then we should be open and honest about that and address it. Because actually, by sweeping it under the carpet and not addressing it, it actually makes tensions and divisions worse down the line. And I would say that as a society, we've got a long way to go when it comes to tackling racism, but I don't think we've completed that journey yet. But wouldn't it be great if as a society we were mature enough that we could have these difficult discussions whilst at the same time never losing sight of the fact that the vast majority of people in our society stand against racism and also stigmatising particular communities. But at the same time, this does need to be addressed.